6. The Diamond Mines. Not very long after this, a very exciting thing happened. In one of his letters, Captain Crew told a most interesting story. A friend who had been at school with him when he was a boy had unexpectedly come to him in India. He was the owner of a land upon which diamonds had been found, and he was developing the mines. As he was fond of the friend of his school days, he had given him an opportunity to share in this enormous fortune by becoming a partner in his scheme. Diamond mines sounded so like the Arabian Nights that no one could be indifferent. Lavinia was very spiteful about it, and told Jessie that she didn't believe such things as diamond mines existed. If there were mines full of diamonds, people would be so rich it would be ridiculous. Perhaps Sarah will be so rich that she will be ridiculous, giggled Jessie. She's ridiculous without being rich, Lavinia sniffed. One of her pretends is that she is a princess. She plays it all the time, even in school. She says it makes her learn her lessons better. A few weeks before Sarah's 11th birthday, a letter came to her from her father. He was not very well, and was evidently overweighted by the business connected with the diamond mines. He had made wonderful preparations for her birthday. Among other things, a new doll had been ordered in Paris, and many other presents. When Sarah's birthday arrived, the whole house was in excitement. The schoolroom was decorated with flowers. The desks had been moved away. When Sarah went into her sitting room in the morning, she found on the table a small package, tied up in a piece of brown paper. She knew it was a present, and she thought she could guess whom it came from. She opened it quite tenderly. It was a square pincushion, made of not quite clean red flannel, and black pins had been stuck carefully into it to form the words, "Many happy returns." "Oh," cried Sarah, with a warm feeling in her heart. "I like it so. It makes me feel sad." And just at that very moment, she heard the door open and saw Becky. There was a happy grin on her face. "Do you like it, Miss Sarah?" she said. "Do you?" "Like it?" cried Sarah. "You darling Becky, you made it all yourself." Becky gave a hysteric but joyful sniff, and her eyes looked quite moist with delight. "It is nothing, and the flannel isn't new, but I wanted to give you something, and I made it at nights. I knew you could pretend it was satin with diamond pins in. I tried to when I was making it." Sarah flew at her and hugged her. "Oh, Becky," she cried out, with a little laugh. "I love you, Becky, I do, I do." When Sarah entered the schoolroom in the afternoon, she did so as the head of a sort of procession. Miss Minchin, in her best silk dress, led her by the hand. A manservant followed, carrying the box containing the doll. A housemaid carried a second box, and Becky a third one. "James, place the box on the table and remove the lid," said Miss Minchin. "Emma, put yours upon a chair. Becky." Becky had quite forgotten herself in her excitement, and was grinning at Lottie. "It is not your place to look at the young ladies," said Miss Minchin. "Put your box down." Becky quickly obeyed. "You may leave us," Miss Minchin announced to the servants. "If you please, Miss Minchin," said Sarah suddenly, "mayn't Becky stay?" It was a bold thing to do. Miss Minchin gazed at her show pupil disturbedly. "Becky," she exclaimed, "my dearest Sarah." Sarah made a step toward her. "I want her because I know she will like to see the presents," she explained. "She is a little girl too, you know." Miss Minchin was scandalized. She glanced from one figure to the other. "My dear Sarah," she said, "Becky is the scullery maid. Scullery maids, are not little girls." It really had not occurred to her to think of them in that light. Scullery maids were machines who carried coal and made fires. "But Becky is," said Sarah, "and I know she would enjoy herself. Please let her stay, because it is my birthday." Miss Minchin replied with much dignity, "As you ask it as a birthday favor, she may stay. Go and stand there, too, near the young ladies." Becky went to her place, grinning. She did not care where she was sent, so that she might have the luck of being inside the room, instead of being downstairs in the scullery. Miss Minchin made a speech congratulating Sarah and left the room. Sarah bent over one of the boxes with a delighted face. "These are books, I know," she said. Then she turned to the biggest box. When she took out the doll, it was so magnificent that the children uttered delighted exclamations of joy. "She is almost as big as Lottie," someone gasped. "Suppose," Sarah said, as she stood by the table, putting a large black velvet hat on the smiling doll, "suppose she understands human talk and feels proud of being admired." "You are always supposing things," said Lavinia. "I know I am," said Sarah undisturbedly. "I like it. There's nothing so nice as supposing. It's almost like being a fairy. If you suppose anything hard enough, it seems as if it were real. It's all very well to suppose things, if you have everything," said Lavinia. "Could you suppose and pretend, if you were a beggar and lived in an attic?" Sarah looked thoughtful. "I believe I could," she said. "If one was a beggar, one would have to suppose and pretend all the time. But it mightn't be easy." She often thought afterward how strange it was that just as she had finished saying this, just at that very moment, Miss Amelia came into the room. "Sarah," she said, "your papa's lawyer, Mr. Barrow, has come to see Miss Minchin, and, as she must talk to him alone, you had all better come and have your party now, so that my sister can have her interview here in the schoolroom." When the girls left, Miss Minchin came into the room accompanied by a dry little gentleman who looked rather worried. Miss Minchin herself also looked worried and puzzled. "Please be seated, Mr. Barrow," she said. Mr. Barrow did not sit down at once. His attention seemed attracted by the doll and the things which surrounded her. He looked at them in nervous disapproval. "Birthday presents," said Mr. Barrow in critical manner, "to a child 11 years old. Mad extravagance, I call it." Miss Minchin felt offended. "Captain Crewe is a man of fortune," she said. "The diamond mines alone—" "Diamond mines!" exclaimed Mr. Barrow. "There are none." Miss Minchin actually got up from her chair. "What?" she cried. "What do you mean?" "Diamond mines bring ruin oftener than they bring wealth," said Mr. Barrow. "When a man is in the hands of a very dear friend, and is not a businessman himself, he had better get rid of the dear friend's diamond mines, or gold mines, or any other kind of mines dear friends want his money to put into. The late Captain Crewe—" Here Miss Minchin stopped him with a gasp. "The late Captain Crewe?" she cried out. "The late? You don't come to tell me that Captain Crewe is—"